Welcome to Guyana 411. The newly elected councillors have been sworn in the various municipalities. This week, we look at the plans and the way forward for the Georgetown City Council under new leadership which has hold transparency and accountability as priorities. I am Shivani Ramprasad. Stay tuned. The new council and the leadership of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council are ready to transform the capital to a 21st century state.
The energy of the newly elected councillors of the Georgetown municipality speaks of transformation.
I was elected by a constituency that wants to see Georgetown move forward, that wants to see Georgetown become an international city, and I don't intend to fail them in that regard. Lots of the other councillors have come with new energy, renewed focus, and they also want to see a different Georgetown, and I believe we have the goodwill of the citizens, we have the political will of the council, and I have no doubt that we're going to see a different Georgetown in the months to come, and we will see also a different mayor and city council. It cannot be business as usual.
An orientation session was held with all councillors as a means of harmonizing their energies.
In 1994 there was no orientation, it was just a continuation of what was happening from the IMC. In this new council, we thought it best that all councillors should be having an idea of what you're coming into, because during the campaign there were lots of talks of how I will do this and I will do that, and so we needed to have you oriented to know how the council operates. What are the duties of the councillor? What are the duties of the town clerk? What are the duties of the treasurer, the city engineer? These are all statutory officers according to Chapter 2801. And today we're having more or less on the ground look at some of our markets, some of our cokers, the sluices and so. So you know exactly if you're living in an area, if you have a coker there, if you have a market there, if you have a health center there. So when you talk with your constituency, you would be able to guide them.
Even as councillors are guided as to what is expected of them, the leadership is in the process of accessing in-house resources.
Not only financially, but in other areas, what is the health of the various departments of the council. We need to know what we are taking over, because that is the chief basis on which we are going to lay our plans. And in order for those plans to be successful, we have to know what is the health of the council.
Security and the city's drainage are two issues that will receive attention.
Rainy seasons are almost here, and we want to make sure that the city is ready for those rains. Also that our capital works projects on the whole are running efficiently and effectively, and then get down to the business of forecasting and casting vision for what we want Georgetown to look like going forward. Security is going to play an important role. In our city, residents and businesses need to feel secure, and not only feel it, there should be actual security, and so we'll be looking at those issues. Again, issues of our drainage system, issues of solid waste management, issues of composting. That's an area you'll see the main city council heading into. Issues of how do we make Georgetown a 21st city, a 21st century city. How do we make it competitive with the rest of the region? And so there's lots of ideas that we really and truly have to sit down with the councillors, the 30 councillors, over time and flesh out. But there's lots in train, I can tell you that much.
The major challenge envisaged to the work of the newly elected council is finances.
Finance is always an immediate challenge. Finance. To manage this city, our present budget is what, $2.5 to $3 billion. And there was an increase from last year because we had the amnesty last year. But $3 billion is obvious, cannot manage the city. So again, the council will be challenged with looking at ways and means of broadening its revenue base so we can have the kind of money to do the kind of work the city requires.
Works will get underway after the council holds its first statutory meeting on April 12.
Days after being sworn in, Georgetown's Mayor Patricia Chase Green, along with her new councillors, make city rounds a part of an orientation exercise.
The newly sworn-in councillors visited several sluices, pumps, markets and other public facilities to familiarize themselves with the current situation and status of ongoing projects in relation to their various constituencies.
This is one of the several infrastructure on the shores of the city. And like I mentioned as well, the maintenance. Our pump foot is currently going on, is ongoing maintenance because, as I said, annual maintenance, and we have to take it out to do some maintenance work. But the good thing for us now is that because of this prolonged El Niño season, we can afford to use the normal gravity flow. So we benefited from that right now.
The councillors described the orientation exercise as a very critical means for charting the way forward.
To know exactly how the ship is, to find out what is the standing of the council as it relates to infrastructure, staff, as well as finances, not only limited to, but to have an idea and a complete understanding of where the city council is presently. And that's the only way, I think, as a council, we would be able to come to decisions and to start charting a way forward.
Visiting my Munishwar site, the coca there, I feel I now see where the flood used to really occur in Georgetown, because to what I saw, it is not pleasing to me. I know the new government has do something within the short period of time, but what we need to do with it is, it needs to drill out, because it's still having stuff like ply, plastic and these things. So the water is not running according to what I see here.
That is a good sign, that speaks of efficiency. I hope it will translate into city or getting things done in an efficient manner also. But visiting the coca at Munishwars, we realize that it's a public structure belonging to the city, but it's in the compound of a private entity. Now, it needs upgrading, it needs desilting. The walls of it has corroded over the years significantly. So there's definitely work that needs to be done there. So as councillors, when we reach at the table, we would definitely look at that.
The councillors took their oath to serve the people of their respective constituencies for the Georgetown City Council on April 1.
The newly elected 30-member council of the Mayor and City Council of Georgetown is working to change the negative perception of the council.
The new council plans to do everything possible to ensure that its operations can be scrutinized at the highest level. City Mayor Patricia Chase Green believes that transparency leads to the effective functioning of the City Council. It is against this background that she says the council is open to facilitate any type of auditing. Green further explained that between 2011 and 2012, the City Council wrote the Auditor General on 3 occasions to conduct an audit, but no intervention was made.
At that time, the then mayor, Ms. Hampton, received letters saying that those monies were authorized to be spent by the minister, so there will be no audit. So now to come to say you want a forensic audit, I have no objections. The council is there. Anyone can ask for audit. The Auditor General is free to come in at any time to do any audit. But my surprise is that now there's this big call because there's a new council in and there's a new town clerk in for an audit. But I will have no objection. But I was calling for that since 2012 and they never entered to do audit.
Green pointed out that the previous Keith Burrows and Raymond Gaskin audits undertaken at the council were as a result of the request by the City Council.
We have nothing to be afraid of. Anyone who wants to come in and do an audit, they're free to come in and do that. The law provides for that. So my hands are clean. I have no problem with that. The council hands are clean. So yes, I have no problem with an audit being done by anyone.
Meanwhile, Deputy Mayor Sherrod Duncan explained that the new councillors must know the financial status of the council in order to design and implement projects. He pointed out that City Hall in the past had been perceived as corrupt, a perception which needs to be changed.
We ought to lay those perceptions to rest. These new councillors coming in have a right to know what is the health of the city council, not only financially, but in other areas. What is the health of the various departments of the council? We need to know what we are taking over, because that is the chief basis on which we are going to lay our plans. And in order for those plans to be successful, we have to know what is the health of the council.
The new 30-member Georgetown City Council was sworn in on April 1. The council has promised to transform Georgetown into a modern 21st century capital city with the support of all the relevant stakeholders and agencies.
Residents of Alboystown, Charlestown, and Sophia can expect better representation of their demands as they too will have a voice on the newly installed council.
For these forgotten communities, there are several young new faces working to see improvement. These councillors are seeking to tackle the many social and physical issues which have retarded the transformation of these communities for years. For the new face on the block, Malcolm Ferreira, precedence will be on tackling the issue of the continuing crime situation in Alboystown and the issue raising concern in the neighboring community of Charlestown.
I'm from James Street, Alboystown, across the road where used to be Hell's Kitchen. I grew up seeing blood washing the streets of Alboystown. It continued and it continues. How many more persons have to die before we realize that? It makes no sense, because honestly, we have to feel, and I extend condolences to the relatives, the well-wishers and the loved ones of the deceased. Do we have to wait until it comes close to home, it affects you personally, before we say, okay, we have to stop? Because I was born and raised there, going to 40 years, and it continues all the time. What are we leaving for the children as a community?
Of paramount concern as well is preventing yet another situation in the Alboystown, Charlestown areas. Issues of a damaged coker and ineffective drainage have for years led to the flooding of the communities and residents experiencing severe losses during and after incidents of heavy rainfall.
There was a time when the water left the land much faster. It wouldn't be there overnight. And of course, that's when you struggle. A lot of persons in there, low income, you buy a fridge. Okay, you may not put it 2-3 feet off the ground, and here comes a flood, damages it. Now we have to go try and do it again. Those are some of the things that affect these people. So I believe the situation with drainage and irrigation is one of the main concerns.
Sophia is another community that has over the years had little infrastructural development, but where other basic public goods and services have remained largely unattended. With a voice on the council, the newly elected community representative, Andrea Marks, is seeking to change this.
You know, Sophia is a very difficult area. It was neglected for 23 years, so I am trying to get it up and run, and I have a great plan for my area.
Marks has hit the ground running. She has already met with several stakeholders towards implementing a number of new projects for the community.
At least I have 2 brand new roads. I have a community up and running. Last night I went to a meeting. I don't even want to bring it right away into the press. I will be getting some computer to set up for the young people.
Marks and Ferreira will have 3 years to pursue their dreams of transforming their respective communities.
Well, I will make my Sophia people proud of me. And when I run again, they will vote me for a second term.
To at least set in motion the ideas and things garnered from wider society as a council to ensure that we are in some aspects there as being a modern city, and in many other aspects the plans are in place and we're moving in that direction. That would be good enough for me for 3 years, because honestly, to take what we're taking now, it is going to be a big challenge, and we understand that people out there are looking forward for results, and some would like to see results immediately. That may not be possible in some areas. Could happen. Improvements should happen, and some should be immediate. But this is a young council, a new council. I have many young people in their 20s, and I would think I would want to give us at least a fair chance.
That has brought us to the end of this week's Guyana 411. You can view our other programs on YouTube and also get updates from our Facebook page. Thank you for watching. Do have a safe week ahead.